I don't have an intro, so let's get started. I have been seeing some of the girls doing the mid-year freak out book tag, whatever it's called. I've been seeing the girls do this and I'm intrigued and I want to do it too. Because I love answering questions. So we're going to do it. There's about 10 questions, I think. And yeah, let's just hop right into it. Let's waste no time on me yapping about nothing to fill in space. The first question: what is the best book that you've read so far in 2025? Ooh, I have my Goodreads pulled up too because I haven't even read that many books. I think maybe a little over 30. So not really like that many. Ooh, do I have to just answer with one? I don't want to. I want to answer with a few. Is that cheating if I answer with more than one? Well, I'm going to answer with more than one anyway. So I started off the year reading The Bee Sting. Masterpiece. An absolute masterpiece. The Bee Sting is a book about this family. Do I have to explain this book to you? Is that a part of this tag? Is that a part of the tag for me to explain this book to you? The Bee Sting is about a family that is spiraling. Like the moment that you start the book, they're like not in a good place. And we get POVs from the entire family. So the husband, the wife, and their 2 kids. At the root of the book, it's about climate change and the impact that climate change has on all of us, but also how us existing as humans makes it hard to do the right thing to avoid the climate crisis getting worse. So there's a lot happening in the book. It's like 600 pages. But it is worth every single word. The book is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I knew that it was going to be one of my favorite books of the year. Probably even by the end of the year, I'm still going to say that it's one of my favorite books. I think it's just one of the most like well-crafted books that I've read. It's a little genius. It's a little amazing. And I absolutely adored it. What has been your favorite sequel of the first half of the year? Now, I don't think anything I've read has been, no, that's a lie. That is a lie. I definitely read volume 5 of The Summer Hikaru Died. And that was great. I absolutely loved it. But what I think I'm going to actually have to say is the best sequel that I've read, The Monk and Robot duology, I think there's only going to be 2 books, by Becky Chambers. And I loved both of those books so much. And I think I'm going to have to say that the second book in that, I kind of would put them together as like one book, but like, or I would like count it really as one book. But because we're talking about sequels, I'll say that second book, was so good. It was so good. I love everything that that story represents. I like just agree wholeheartedly with everything that it's doing. The idea that there is a world in which we could exist in where we just wouldn't be suffering, I think would be great. I think it would be great to exist in a world like that. And it's unfortunate that series feels as if it's like a utopia, and it doesn't have to be. Like, we can actually exist in that way if we decided to. Like, as simple as that. We would just kind of have to decide to do that. But yeah, I loved both of those books. So I guess I'll say that's my favorite sequel that I've read. Is there a new release that you haven't read yet but you're really excited to? I think the new release that I have had in my brain, that I haven't touched yet. Ooh, or can I answer this with 2 of them? Can I just lie and answer and not follow this? So I'll say there's 2 things. Wow, I'm really living up to the bio of this channel, huh? So there is one book that I've owned for months now, I think, and that is The Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I I haven't picked it up yet. I think because I've been like, oh, I don't want to read any more like long books, because I started off January. If you're following me on Goodreads, you'll see I started off January reading, I think, like 4 really big books for just no reason but the sake of to just cuz. And I've still been reading a lot of like 400-page books, even though I keep convincing myself that I just don't want to read books that long right now, but I still just keep ending up picking them up anyway. So I've kind of been avoiding it on that basis, and then I proceeded to like read Beartown. So it's like, knock it off. But I really want to get into that book. I'm hoping that I'm going to get to it this month. But I'm really excited. I've heard like good things about it, and I love Stephen Graham Jones, and I believe, if memory serves, that it's about vampires. And I feel like I should have like read this when I was on like the movie Sinners. Like I was on like the kick of being like, oh, vampires. That I should have probably read it then. But of course I haven't. But I really, really want to get to it, and I'm hoping I get to it this month. And it's gonna be a priority. I'm gonna make that a priority for this month, so it doesn't go any further out, because then I'll convince myself that I shouldn't read it until October, and it's like, no, I want to read it now. What is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? I think I'm going to have to say the new Tiffany D. Jackson, The Scammer, I think it's called. I think I'm gonna have to say that that's what I'm most excited for. I have read almost all of her books, and I don't think we've gotten a book from her in like maybe 2 or 3 years, and I would love to read another book by her. And I think that's gonna be it. If not that, or I guess also the new R.F. Kuang book, I'd say that too. And also possibly, what is it called? Hot Wax by ML Rio. I think those are like my top 3 books that I don't believe are out yet, that I'm excited to read. I don't really keep on top of new releases like that. I hope that those aren't out yet. And I'm not just lying. I believe all of those come out this year though. So if not, they've just, some of them might have just come out, but I don't think so. I don't think any of those are out yet. I think they come out at the end of this year. What is your biggest disappointment so far? I think I'd say maybe the biggest disappointment was the new Kennedy Ryan book. I like just read that a couple days ago, and I think I'm settling on giving it like a 2.75. It just wasn't great. And I think it's really unfortunate because I liked the other 2 books like in this like series, I guess, especially the second one. I forget what was the second one was called. I'll have it like up on the screen. But I really, really liked the second one, and the only thing I can say is that reading this one made me like the second one more, but it didn't land in the way in which I was hoping it would. But also it's like, I guess when I really think about it, the character that we're following, like the friend group, we're following a friend group, and like the girly pop of the friend group that this book is following, I never really cared about her that much. So yeah, there's that. But I'm still like disappointed in the fact that like I gave the first book in the series 4 stars, and then the second one 4.5, and then to give this one a 2.75, it's like I would think that it would at least be a 3. I just didn't hit the same. I just didn't like a lot of stuff about it, but there's a lot of things I didn't like. I'm going to have a review up hopefully soon, but I'll go more into detail of like my gripes about this book at the end of the year when I do like my end of the year wrap up. But yeah, it was disappointing because it just didn't hit the way the other 2 books did. What is your biggest surprise so far, and a book that made you cry? I'm going to have to answer these with the same book, because Remarkably Bright Creatures kind of gagged me. It kind of gagged me. So when I first started reading this, I was reading it physically. I saw that like the book was I was like at BJ's and I saw the book and I was like, okay. And I picked it up because I was like, I heard the streets like it. I heard the streets like it. So I'm like, I'm gonna pick up this book, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to read everything on my physical TBR. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna read it. And I started and I'm like, I don't want to read from the perspective of an octopus. I don't want to. I have no desire to do that, and I hate it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. And I read like barely got through like the first 10 pages before I was like, I don't want to do this. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it on audio and I'm gonna see how I feel about it on audio. I at first, even listening to audio, I was like, this is a little goofy. Like the voice actor that's playing the octopus, it feels like unserious. Like I can't. The deeper I got into the book, the more I was like, oh no, I get it. I was like, oh no, I get it. Like, this is so sweet. And it's just like really messing with me. There was like so many moments in which I'm like tearing up. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And the thing that I think gagged me the most is like the parts I was tearing up from were mainly like the octopus chapters. So I was like, okay, I didn't want to read this originally because I was getting pissed clean off over reading from the perspective of a fucking sea creature, and I hate sea life, by the way, just some of my lore. So I'm like, I don't want to fucking read about this octopus. And then those are the chapters that were like making me cry. So then that also goes into like obviously books that made me cry. But that was so surprising because I just wasn't expecting to like that book as much as I did. Like I really had like no expectations other than just hearing that other people liked it. So I assumed that it would be decent. I was like, I doubt it's going to be like a bad book. But I was just shocked at how much I loved it and how sweet it was and how emotional I got from reading it. Especially the end. I was like just straight up crying at the end. But yeah, I really enjoyed that book. It was very, very good. A book that made you happy. At first I was going to say this is really hard because I don't tend to read anything that's happy. Which is true. I don't tend to like gravitate towards things that any books that are joyous in any way. But a book that I did read that did make me happy is The Prospects. I love this book so much. This actually is like maybe one of my favorite romance books that I've ever read. And then also just like one of my favorite books that I've read of the year so far. This would most probably be in like my top 10 books. As of right now, it's in my top 4 because there's not even that many books that really gagged me for real. But yeah, this book was so sweet. It's about this trans guy that plays baseball, and he has a crush on this other guy, and it's just about like their relationship and baseball, and it's cute and it's fun, and I loved it. And I just love a good queer romance in general. A lot more than straight romances. I feel like straight romances, unfortunately, or I guess neutrally, there's just so many. There's just so many of them. So it's really nice to have more queer romances. And I wasn't even intending on like reading this book, but I had saw it like recommended on BookTube. I was just like scrolling, and someone recommended it, and I was like, oh, I think I can get my hands on that book. And then I did, and I absolutely loved it. So that book made me very happy. I was kicking my feet up and giggling, and I was having a great time. What books do you want to read by the end of the year? So this is our last question. So a few books that I want to read by the end of the year. One, of course, the Buffalo Hunter, because like I said, I have a physical copy of it and have not read it yet. The other books that I also have physical copies of is, I believe this is still the newest Grady Hendrix. I don't believe he's came out with anything else. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. And I just picked this up. And as I've also literally just said, I don't want to read any more long books. I'm pretty sure this is 400 pages. But I read Beartown recently, and I kind of want to get through a decent amount of Frederick Backman's books. They are good. I don't know what to tell you. But I did just pick up My Friends. And I'm hoping that I can get through in general just a percentage of my both physical TBR and also my Goodreads TBR. But yeah, that's it for me. You can follow me on Goodreads, Storygraph. I'm now on Fable, I guess. I'm just every book place that you can possibly be, I'm there now. You could also follow me on Apple Music, and I think that's it. I think those are the only places that I am. That's it. Hope to see you soon, and stop watching. Bye.